Happy New Year. It's 2022. I mean, the older I get, the less believable these year numbers become. Like when you're little, it was always like quite exciting, and now I'm like, I think what 2022 would have meant to 10-year-old me, and it would have meant that we were living in the future with all the cliches that go with that. Now, we do have some of those things, you know. We have phones that can talk and TVs that can predict what we want and fridges that tell you when they've run out of groceries. All those things exist. But we don't have flying cars, do we? Very disappointing.
Welcome to another episode of Toby's Stupid Vlog.
2022 is the year that we move house and the year that we go on holiday abroad. Those are my only criteria for a successful year. I'm keeping it simple and achievable. That's my intent. And if it turns out that by, I don't know, we've done all that by spring, which would be lovely, but then we'll set some new goals. And that's why New Year's resolutions are pointless. You can just set goals at any time for any reason. As it was New Year's Eve last night, it's worth reflecting on what the point of New Year's Eve is. It's lost on me, honestly. It is an arbitrary day for the number to change into a new year. Like other calendars don't use the same day in the year. If you went out last night, then I understand that you desperately wanted to. It's been a shit couple of years, and I get that, but I still think it was pretty stupid to do so. But presumably you're an adult and you can make your own decisions. Anyway, I never liked New Year's Eve anyway. It's literally the most overhyped and overrated night of the year, because there's no way it can possibly live up to expectation, in so much as it's far too expensive and there's no spontaneity. It is just an overpriced, overhyped night. So don't tend to go out. We've in years gone for a nice meal. I mean, that seems a pretty good idea. I mean, when I was younger, obviously I've had New Year's Eves in central London, right by Big Ben when it chimed. Been to some house parties, been out to nights and things, and some of them were quite fun. But on the whole, if someone said to me, right, I will give you all the money you spent on those in exchange for all the memories of those particular nights out, I'd take the cash tomorrow. No question. Even without inflation, I would take the money. So there we have it. That's my feeling on New Year's Eve. If you want to have a celebration, again, you don't need an excuse. New Year is just excuse making for people who are too lazy to do things the rest of the year. You want to make resolutions? Go right ahead. Do it on the 2nd of January. Do it on the 30th of December. Do it on June the 8th. Doesn't matter. You want to go out and have a party? Go out and have a party. Like, you don't need the date to change, do you? Anyway, I'm going for a little loop, going through Kew, going to do a bit of shopping, and see what this year looks like so far. I am reasonably hopeful. This is by no means a certainty that 2022 could be the year that COVID stops being a pandemic. I mean, there's no way it'll do that in a neat way, but it might do it nonetheless. If you get a chance to see this exhibition and you get a chance to come to Kew before 27th of March, I strongly and highly recommend it. It's fantastic. That does depend on me getting this video out before then, which is 50-50 if I'm honest. Anyway, it's lovely to be back in Kew. We're coming in again tomorrow, but I just felt like I hadn't been in for a couple of weeks. It's often the case over Christmas, and it sucks not coming in, so it's nice to come in, and especially, hopefully, if we're moving soon, this will become a bit more difficult, so I need to make the most of it while I can. It's so peaceful and still. I do have as I mentioned, some reasonable expectation of 2022 being better. And I know that in England we are in denial of reality, and that's all reality, it would seem like. We're in denial of Brexit, we're in denial of COVID. But I do think that we might get to a point where some of the, as we did briefly at the end of summer, get to the point where some of the Western world, at the very least, is unlocked a bit, and our freedom to travel returns, which is the thing I miss the most. And to go on a normal holiday, that would feel so nice. It has been so warm for the last few days that some of the blossoms have come out. Some of them come out anyway this time of year, these ones, but some of the cherry blossoms have started appearing, which is crazy. It's like 16 degrees today, and yesterday was the hottest New Year's Eve on record in the United Kingdom. That's not a good thing, just in case you're thinking, oh, it's nice. It's not. It's supposed to be cold. That is the very definition of climate change, where the climate has literally changed. But it does make me long for spring, just feeling a milder day and seeing the occasional flower. I think how much I love spring and how much I'm looking forward to it. You know, and I like baubles and everything, but Christmas, once it's done, it's done, and you need to move on. Christmas shouldn't be 10% of your year. It should be a couple of weeks in December at most. There's plenty of other things that are much more fun in other parts of the year. 6th of January, for example, is Epiphany, which, if you like a random religious festival but have no interest in the religion, is an excuse to eat a galette d'oie, which is a French cake, galette, made with almonds, and it's amazing, and I've got one on order. So, you know, things to look forward to. And on the 8th of January, which is exactly a week today, next Saturday, we are due to finally go and see Ramesh Ranganathan at the Hammersmith Apollo, or Ventim Apollo, whatever it's called nowadays, which has been delayed twice because of COVID, and the tickets that we bought more than 3 years ago now. So if we get to do that, that will be nice. Amelia will need a babysitter, which I believe will be her nanny, so that she'll have a great time, and hopefully we will too.
We can set up a picnic, you know, we've been there for a while.
Yeah. Brum brum. You're going round, I'll see you in a mo. Brum brum.
3, 2, 1.
Good evening. I don't know if you can make it out there. There's a little crescent moon. Anyway, it's the first day back. It's the 4th of January, and sometimes, you know, holidays are too short, and sometimes they're not. This was the perfect length Christmas holiday. I'm very glad that we've now started the new year, and I really enjoyed our Christmas holiday, even though, you know, it's a bit different now. It's a bit different because of, you know, COVID, but also Amelia. I mean, she definitely changes the dynamic. It was really nice, but it's also really nice to be back at it again and get ready to get moving house, which I'm really looking forward to. And this evening ended with a beautiful sunset, which I'd wish I'd taken a photo of. It was really, really pink and spectacular. And just moments before, we'd had a call from our solicitor, so that tells me that they are at least moving in some direction, so that's a bit of a relief. Yeah, it's been easing ourselves in today. I haven't done a lot of work. I've done a lot of admin, a lot of tax work, but not a lot of paid work. But still, it feels good. It feels good to be back. Here we are. This is Albury Heath or rather we're nearly at Albury Heath, because the car park on the Ordnance Survey map doesn't exist, frustratingly. Or rather, if it does, somebody's put a gate in the way that cannot be opened. Which would be fine, but these are single track roads, you can't stop. Anyway, so we're about 300 metres from where we should be, so it's not terrible. So I am going to try and do, on this beautiful sunny day, it's the 5th of January, 12th night, I'm going to try and do like a 10.5, 11 kilometre walk, and see how it goes. I've got packed lunch, even though it's freezing, but I think we'll make it work. Isn't it beautiful? This is some of the heath. You can see the heather. It's died off during the winter. It's stunning. It's very cold today, but that's why it looks so good with the low light and the frosty ground. If you're going to be an outdoors person, you've got to be an outdoors person all year, or else really, you know, you're not really making the most of it. To appreciate a place, you've got to love it in all seasons. That's why I'm here in the Surrey Hills. Really the middle of winter, like maybe not the coldest day that we're going to have this year, but certainly a pretty solid contender for the coldest sunny day. It's very beautiful around here. The advantage of going for a walk where there's always something to see is it give your mind something to do. If you walk around the streets of somewhere you know, then the exercise is surely good, but sometimes I think you don't see what's in front of you because you've seen it so many times, and therefore your mind kind of starts occupying itself in other ways, so lingering on a problem you have, or dealing with a work issue, or what have you. If you go somewhere that's a bit more spectacular, then your brain doesn't get a chance to do anything other than really admire the beauty, and it kind of rewires your brain a bit, and it's totally worth doing. Around here, the reason I love the countryside around here is it reminds me of two things very much. So it reminds me of when my grandparents lived in Gloucestershire, the sort of remote countrysidiness, but it also every now and again reminds me of little bits of Switzerland, although it hasn't got quite the spectacular nature of the mountains. It has the little hidden away valleys and streams and places that you feel that no one else has ever seen. It's very nice. Isn't this a nice English country scene? Confused cow on a path, field of stationary cows in the cold morning. There's a bonfire going over there. Hey cow, am I going to go round you, or are you going to go round me? Fair enough. See you later. So I've been through Pease Lake. I forgot to film. The advantage actually of this kind of thing is you get swept up in the moment and you don't think about taking your camera out. So I've been through Pease Lake and I've come up the hill. It's kind of where I started, over that way. And I went into the village store and I bought some supplies. The pub in Pease Lake, by the way, the Hurtwood Inn, amazing. If you ever get a chance to go, they do an amazing pizza. It's also a really, really old and quite big coaching inn. Fascinating place in such a tiny, tiny village. So I'm going to continue this way. I'm going to have some lunch in a bit. I thought I'd just do a bit of brisk walking to build up my temperature, because when I sit down, it's going to drop quite fast. And then we'll see where we are. We just got to do another climb in a moment. But isn't that beautiful? And peaceful and still here. A lunch spot. Look down. Okay. Well, it seems they have horses around here, but not hospitality. That's a shame. Oh well, I have to go a bit further. I've nearly completed the round part of the walk. Just up here is where I set off across the valley after crossing the railway line. So I've just got to pop back up to the car. I love going on walks. I hate the end of walks. Even if my feet hurt, even if I'm tired, I still hate the end of walks. You know, if I could walk forever, I probably would. Anyway, it was a beautiful day for a walk and totally made the most of it. So I'm very, very happy. And now I just got to meander home. And try and get back before, you know, rush hour and school pickup and what have you. So just got to go under the tunnel and up the hill. Here we are. We're back. This is Farley Heath Cricket Club and apparently football club. Beautiful in the summer, but I bet it'll also be very, very, very crowded in the summer. Anyway, that was a wonderful walk. I'm very glad that I did that. And at this time of year, you kind of got to be all done by sort of 2:30 at the latest, because it just gets dark and cold quickly. So that was great. I just got to get changed back into something that I can drive home in. Good morning. I'm back in Kew. Last night was the first proper frost in London. Anyway, of the year. It was -6 last night, which is really very cold indeed. And I believe that some parts of the boating lake are actually frozen. I realised that if you come from like a northeastern European country, this is probably like, you're like, whatever. -6 sounds like summer, but yeah, it doesn't happen that much in London, especially. It happens a bit more out in the countryside, but here in suburbia, those kind of temperatures are kind of not very normal. Today I'm mostly dealing with parade highlights, which is normal for this time of year, and next forthcoming work, and house move. More on that to follow. Looking at the data of how many people have had COVID over the Christmas period, like almost everybody I speak to at this point has had someone in their families had it over Christmas. This is the Omicron version of COVID, which is very, very contagious, and somehow I don't think that we've had it. I say I don't think, I can't be sure, but we do quite a lot of testing, and we've never come back with a positive. So it's not impossible, but it doesn't look that likely. It's a ridiculous number of people. Like one in 15 people, I think, in the UK had it in the week after Christmas, which is a lot. But this wave will be largely over by, well, certainly by the end of the month. So it's just about being a little bit sensible before then. Although we are going to go and see Romesh at Hammersmith, and there's definitely a risk attached to that. So we've bought ourselves better masks, and we're going to try and not use public transport to get there. And you know, there's no guarantees, but this show has been delayed so many times that we're really trying to we don't really want to cancel unless we have to. So we're keeping an eye on the numbers, we're seeing how it goes, and yeah, that's the only vaguely risky thing I think we're doing. this month. Other than that, there's, you know, we've got birthdays and what have you, but they're the same people we saw over Christmas. So hopefully this won't be too much of an impact on us. Check out the frostiness. It's quite impressive, isn't it? That's the main reason I came into Kew, is just to take some photos of it all looking icy and amazing. So it doesn't happen that much. I always try and come in if it snows, and I'm not sure that we'll still be in Kew on a snow day this year. They tend to happen in February, or actually a bit later nowadays. So I thought I'd just come and marvel at the frosty wonderland. Can you hear the drops of water that sound like rain? So all the frost that was on the leaves is now melting and dripping off. So you're getting this sort of localised rain only under trees. It's warming up a bit because it's going to rain later actually. So it was very cold last night, but it's going to be a fair number of degrees warmer this afternoon, and it's going to bring the rain with it. So I don't know why I'm standing under the tree when everywhere not under a tree isn't raining. I'm going to move.